we would like to see. See, that's why I asked you about the public consumption, because people are trying to get the lounges to be in the legal framework.
Oh,
and then eventually allow them to serve cannabis, like you go to a bar to buy
lounges. And this is when Denver might have had one. So it was really the hub of the lounges. And when we were first there, they can play with the legal framework of being able to gift up to an ounce. So they used that to kind of say that you can come in and you can buy up to an ounce, but you're not giving me money. You're like donating to the club. You're making a donation, and then in turn for your donation, we're giving you free cannabis. And that ended up getting, a little more restricted, where the clubs, eventually the local politicians came down on them. And this is, in my opinion, I think because local dispensaries told them they felt that they were losing business. So they kind of ratted out these lounges because they didn't want them to be selling and not having to, get the same licensing and have to pay all the fees that the dispensaries are paying. So it's kind of people within our own community who ousted the lounges. But the way they got around the public law with the lounges is at that point, you're no longer considered part of the public. You're in a private consumption lounge.
Okay. And then that got them around that, instead of being restricted to, for example, the same as what they do out or there in Amsterdam. They say a lounge is only allowed to sell 5 grams instead of 30 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kind of went along with the framework of, I want to say, like the Elks Club or Lions Club or Rotary, is that you're a private member, so they sell alcohol to their own members. So they kind of went with that framework.
Yeah. Okay, Alicia.
Wondering about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You sound like you're doing a morning stretch.
You caught me.
Go ahead.
The price of cannabis in Colorado, because we've heard from other guests on the show in terms of price. And so is it so costly still there, or like what's going on? Can you speak to that?
It's actually pretty cheap, but you kind of have different shops who will take advantage of geography to charge more. And you also have you still have the recreational versus medical kind of battle there going on. So a recreational shop in a certain location might be selling an ounce for $400, but a medical shop, could sell one for $80. And I think now they even have some for $50 US, but it's like larfy bottom buds, shaky stuff. It's nothing special. But you can make great oil with it.
And so are they making oil like in Colorado now? Is that a big thing to do it there, or?
Well, it's actually against the law. Yeah, and when I first went there, it was hard for me to find someone who was doing it. But now I know at least 100 people who are making it. I like to say with my video, I kind of already went through all the errors and the mistakes of making it myself and making it for patients. That I made a free video. I put it up on my Facebook page, on the Mike Wise Show page. And I kind of just laid it all out there, the best way I feel to make it with kitchen household appliances, and safest way. And kind of since then, I was really involved in the Colorado political scene, with cannabis activism. I was constantly in the state capitol or different city council meetings. So I kind of became a fixture. And once people saw me getting cured, getting all my symptoms relieved, then everyone started messaging me, hey, can you make this oil for me? Or my mom has this, or my sister has this, or my uncle has this. So I really started distributing the oil to everybody. And then once I left in June 2017. And at this point, a lot of people are forced to make it now themselves because the dispensaries don't sell it. So that's one thing. I want to say that maybe very few dispensaries sold anything resembling like a high THC medical cannabis oil. Very few. So
is there law against the oil because of fears of explosions due to the solvents that are used? Like I know here in Canada, we're not allowed to use organic solvents, so that eliminates everything other than basically rosin.
Yeah, that's what the politicians say.
Yeah.
There in Colorado.
Same thing. So it's along the same line. Okay.
I just don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, you can. Yeah, there are safe ways to do it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, what I've been noticing is that in the 2 years I was there in Colorado, we kind of really saw it go from the Wild West to now a restricted, tight, regulated setting where only extremely huge financial invested businesses can sell this. It's virtually impossible to get a license for a mom and pop place. All the mom and pop places that did have licenses have been pushed out with some sort of regulation where, every month they need to get a new AC or a different this or a different that. And the smaller places can't keep up. And so not only that, we saw a patient being able to legally grow 99 plants if the doctor allowed it, to now they can only grow 12 or less, and there's all these rules. And so our mayor, his name's John Suthers there in Colorado Springs. He had numerous closed-door meetings with politicians from all around the country, and I can only assume maybe someone from Canada came down also, but it was kind of like to tell the other politicians how to regulate cannabis. So how to kind of spread the propaganda, what to say is the problem, like the explosion danger, this kind of thing, telling them what to say and why. And the reason, in my opinion, that they did this is so that they can legalize it, but only in terms of that either themselves directly or their friends can profit off it directly. So there'll only be a few licenses. These licenses are going to be given to the politicians or the friends of the politicians. And those are the only people who are going to make money from cannabis. So they don't want people to grow it because they want to sell them the cannabis. It's kind of a gross thing that's happening that I've witnessed.
Yeah, well, as I know Alicia could attest to this, as some people say they've come in and just taken over everything.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the recreational, once the big businesses came in.
Yeah, I would think people would expect that there, under legalization there'd be some regulation, but I don't think a lot of people expected it was going to go as strong as it has. Like when alcohol became legal, it took years before you could get it at a bar. You can only go to certain spots, and that gets back to where this lounge situation is. Hopefully we don't need to wait 10 years to be able to buy cannabis at a lounge.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense, So, yeah, and the same thing is, they're saying protect the kids when it comes to the smoke, but yet they're forcing people to consume it in their homes in some places. Where are the kids?
It doesn't make sense, but it makes dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the same people, they want to talk about safety, but they're the same people who allow alcohol to be consumed. They allow tobacco to be legally consumed. These are all substances who every day there can be some sort of death attributed to their use. When in the thousands of years of cannabis use, we still haven't found one death. So if they want to talk about safety, they're lying.
Okay, Alicia, we've got about 4 minutes, and then we'll do the shout out, and that way we can get ready for the next live show. It's coming up behind us. So,
Okay.
Alicia, we've got about 4 minutes, and then we'll do the shout out, and that way we can get ready for the next live show. It's coming up behind us. So.
Sounds good. So Mike, what's coming up? Like, what are you working on now? What does the future hold?
Well, I've been pretty busy. I have not been so much involved online other than just putting out content every day on my Facebook page. And that's the Mike Wise Show. If you look on Facebook, you can find it on YouTube under the same name, but I'm primarily focused on Facebook. And so putting out content every single day that's designed for cannabis patients. So I'm not going to have stuff about CBD only or CBD will work for this. We're going to say cannabis will work for this, because if we want to talk about it, CBD is a part of cannabis. There's no need to separate it and study it by itself. Too many other people and pages are doing that, so I'm not contributing to that. And, I don't put any dab videos. All these people who do all these dab videos and dab in their nose and dab Tide Pods and all this kind of nonsense that some of these big pages are sharing. So, yeah. And so that's one thing I focus on. And then now I've been working on access as much as I can for patients. I have free content, videos on how to grow, how to make the oil yourself. I'm sowing seeds now everywhere. I've sent them to just about every country. And lately, the biggest step that I've done regarding activism is to publicly announce that I have this THC oil, that I can make this for you and send it to you in any country. And so I did this about 2 months ago. And I was hoping that my actions, especially having such a large profile online, would inspire others to do the same, because everything we're talking about, these laws, is nonsense to anybody who has common sense. So I just wish that people would not obey these laws. Like, they're not moral laws. They're not based in morality. So why are we following them and, letting them control our lives? I've never let it control my life. So I'm kind of just trying to help others as much as I can. If you have some sort of disease or something, you can send me a message. I'll get you some oil. We'll get together. I can make it for you. Besides that, I also have Cannafest coming up in October. So I'll be giving another lecture in Prague. Cannafest is like the largest cannabis expo here in Europe besides Cannabis, but this one has speakers. And I'll be giving a lecture on activism and home growing, the importance of fighting against laws that limit THC, laws that limit how many plants you can grow, and just kind of talking about the same thing we've talked about today, about how the importance is to take your health into your own hands, because frankly, these politicians don't care about you, they don't know you, and they're not going to help you. So until you help yourself and stand up and do this, that's the only way you're going to heal yourself. I did it. It worked for me. So I'm trying to help everyone else do it any way I can.
That's right. Speaking up and allowing people to have a voice. That's what you got to do. All right, guys. We should maybe get to the shout-out part of this program here. And that's where you get to throw a shout out to a person, place, a thing, a website, let people know where they can find you. I know you just mentioned your Facebook page. Go ahead, mention that again if you'd like. And,
my page, Facebook / the Mike Wise Show. So this Facebook / Mike Wise Show. You can type Mike Wise Show into the search bar, and my last name's Wise, Wise like an owl. And you can find all sorts of content on me. Give me a like. I answer every message that gets to my page. If you have any questions, concerns, dosing, anything, I answer them. I'm a patient myself, so I try to help everyone else out who wasn't fortunate enough to have access to the same knowledge and education that I've been able to have. So I just try to spread it with everybody. My seed page is oglabsgenetics.com. So oglabsgenetics.com. Yeah, you can get seeds on there.
Good. We never even mentioned that. I seen something about OG Labs here on your page, and there you go. Yeah, so you own a seed company as well.
Oh yeah. I've been really focusing on that because I really want people to grow themselves, and it sounds corny when you hear people say overgrow the government, but that's what we got to do. We got to just grow, and when everyone grows and it gets normalized again, then they really can't push this propaganda on us because just like I experienced myself when I was 15, that the propaganda was false and my friends weren't turning crazy when they smoked it. Everyone should experience this awakening, and that's I just hope everyone does one day. If we keep talking about it like we are, change will happen.
Awesome. I think so too. I think that change can only be felicitated by talking about it. So, amen, and thank you for your work.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on. I appreciated our conversation, and it's great to be here.
No worries. And so I guess in terms of cannabis, like events, you had mentioned one in October. Is that the yearly kind of thing that happens there? Is that something?
Yes, it's every year. I moved out here last year, so I spoke at the first one I could when I was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this time I'll actually have a booth as well. So if anyone's going to be there, you don't have to worry about talking to me after my lecture. You can come by the booth and we can chat and, talk about genetics or being a patient and dosing, whatever needs to happen.
Good.
It's in November 2nd through the 4th.
Good stuff. All right, Alicia, have you got a shout out?
Yes, I would like to thank Mike for coming on the show and taking the time out of his day and helping us accommodate him in terms of time. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us. That was really powerful. And learning about your struggles with the law and stuff, and just a travesty. And so I hope that others learn from what you've experienced. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Alrighty. This is a reminder to let everyone know that we'll be back next Wednesday. My joint host will be Kim Cooper and our special guest. In the meantime, just as a reminder, in the next 30 minutes, top of the hour, Tamara Cartwright will be live with her program, Cannabis and Coffee with Tamarawana. So stick around for that. Let's see what else. You can find Pace Radio on Facebook, on Twitter at Pace Radio. You can find us online at paceonline.ca, and we're on Instagram as well. Thank yous go to our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at CC's Nexus. They can be found at ccnexus.global. Also, thank you to the man behind the baggie and the Shatterizer in the other hand. That's Al Rapp of Lifestyle Radio, our producer. Also, a big thank you to you, Mike, for coming on the program. As Alicia says, we appreciate you coming on and talking about your story.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'd like to come back anytime.
Oh, good. Well, obviously, we're going to have you come back in the future because we didn't get to touch on everything that you've been involved in. The seed company, and other stuff that I see on that list. So. Oh
yeah, we've sent out many orders to Canadians. We love our fellow Canadians. So.
Good.
Get in touch with
us. All right. Also, thank you to you, Alicia, getting up early this morning.
Thanks. No worries. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, we did try to do this in the afternoon, but I have a medical appointment this afternoon, so couldn't do it then. All right. And also, a big thank you always goes out to our listeners. Thank you for tuning in the program. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.